The new Australian curriculum has a strong emphasis on engagement with Asia. The question is, are our teachers and principals ready for this new emphasis? Professor Christine Hasle from Deakin University is the co-author of a detailed report titled Asia Literacy and the Australian Teaching Workforce.
My name's Christine Hasle. I'm the Professor of Education at Deakin University. I'm the lead author of the Asia Literacy and the Australian Teaching Workforce report, and this was a major report commissioned by DEWA, Halse in collaboration with the Asia Education Foundation. The report was commissioned because commencing this year we've got a new national curriculum, the Australian curriculum, and within that curriculum there's a priority area of Asia and Australia's engagement with Asia. And so one of the concerns by government and the key stakeholders of Halse and the Asia Education Foundation was what's the expertise within the Australian teaching workforce, and here we're talking about both principals and teachers, for taking responsibility and carriage for that particular area of the curriculum, because it is something that they're going to be responsible for in terms of their students right through primary and secondary. So historically the focus in Asia education has been on what we need to teach the kids, what sort of knowledge, what sort of skills. We haven't put enough attention on what sorts of capacities, in fact, teachers and principals need, and what sort of support they actually need to achieve those outcomes amongst the kids. So what this study was designed to do was to try and identify those sorts of capacities. Now, it was the first study of its kind because nobody had even ventured to do that before, but it just makes really good sense. If you're going to ask your teaching profession to actually accomplish certain things with your kids, then you need to also ask, well, what sort of support and skills and capacities does the teaching profession need? So amongst the key recommendations of the report, what we identified that was absolutely critical for teachers and for principals was to have a connection with Asia. Now that connection could be in various different forms, because people often think that, well, if I've got a large percentage of kids and families in my school that are of Asian background, that's the connection. That didn't turn out to be a key element across all the teachers and principals we were working with. In fact, it was connection in any sort of form. So that might be connection with local organisations, groups like the Asia Education Foundation, but also international connections, sister school relationships, and so on. So it's when there is a physical, real-world connection with Asia, that's one of the major stimuluses for Asia literacy in a school. A key recommendation from the study and a key finding from the study was that a central thing that made all the difference to the extent of Asia literacy within the school and amongst the teaching profession was the extent of connections with Asia, and that might be both in terms of local connections, families and parents involved in the school, but also very importantly beyond the school grounds. So that's with different organisations or international associations, sister school relationships and so on. So it's that physical connection with Asia was really crucial to Asia literacy. A second major finding of the study was that Asia literacy was one of the best ways of building intercultural understanding between different groups. So schools that were really strong with Asia literacy were really also very strongly positioned in terms of addressing issues of racism, cultural bias and so on. So there was a much broader benefit to schools and communities from actually engagement with the Asia literacy agenda. One of the key enablers for building Asia literacy in a school and ensuring that your teaching profession has a strong level of Asia literacy is actually them having spent time in Asia. And interestingly, we found that teachers as a population had spent a great deal more time in Asia than had principals. But that was actual experience in travelling around Asia was really crucial. When you think about teaching as a profession, you can understand why, because you go to Asia, you collect the artefacts, you get the stories, so that when you come back into the classroom, what you're teaching really comes to life for the kids and for your colleagues in the staff room. One of the major findings of the report was that there was very little focus on Asia literacy as part of teacher education. 60% of the teachers that we surveyed had done nothing about Asia in their undergraduate education. And now that Asia literacy is actually a mandatory part of the Australian curriculum, addressing that at the teacher education level is going to be an important direction for the future. What the study did find is that continued investment in building Asia literacy capacity in the teaching profession is actually going to be crucial, because things like personal experience in Asia is one of the key facilitators of Asia literacy. The second key facilitator is professional learning or tertiary education. The key message for government out of that is that the funding support needs to continue.